Great. So good noon, everyone. Welcome to Nifty Banknifty live analysis. So we are back after a 2-week gap. So I was on vacation. I came back. Well, market did not do much. It's basically moving in a range-bound format. So let's first try to see the market from a broader perspective, and then we can basically understand how to play today's expiry trade. Now, first thing which is very important, if I try to see on the hourly chart, a good base has been formed in Nifty at the lower end. So एक अच्छा सा बेस बन गया है निफ्टी में अराउंड 16,000 15,800 का, और मैंने वही कहा था कि अगर ये बेस नहीं टूटता है तो वील गेट सम बिट ऑफ रिवर्सल फॉर द अपसाइड मूव. बट मोर इम्पॉर्टेंटली 16,800 के बाद अगेन वी कैन सी द सेलिंग हैज़ कम. सो 16,800 इज़ लाइक अपर हर्डल विच इज़ बीन देयर, and again market has pushed back down, and now market is in the higher range and lower range, basically in the middle. So that's where the sideways or congestion movements will happen. Now more importantly, what happened yesterday was the RBI meeting, and because of that the downside spike was made, the high side spike was made. So highest volumes have happened at point A and point B. So if today I want to trade, I would basically try to focus, since we can see he's trying to inch on the higher side. He can come back up to the top, but then sharp selling will come from this area. So the first learning which we need to take from yesterday's movement is this area where sharp selling has come yesterday. So this becomes our strong resistance zone. So निफ्टी में कल हमने देखा था कि एक बड़ा स्पाइक बनाया बैंक निफ्टी ने और निफ्टी ने बोथ, एंड देन सेलिंग केम इन. तो ये जोन बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट रेजिस्टेंस जोन रहेगा, मोर और लेस 16,500 जोन. नाउ ऑब्वियसली 16,500 इज वेरी वेरी फार from the current point, which is 16,400. So this entire zone will act like resistance for Nifty. So how should we go about trading this zone? Let's try to see the smaller time frame, so 3 minutes and 5 minutes or so. One thing is very clear, you can clearly see it zoomed up, came back down and it is not going below this area. So this is a good support zone for Nifty, which has been built right from morning. सो निफ्टी के लिए ये एक अच्छा सा सपोर्ट बन गया है 16,300 या 350 जोन, वेयर यू कैन क्लियरली सी zoomed up, came back down, tried to retest, made a good W, and then again he is kind of zooming on the upside. Now as I said, even if he is trying to go back up, this zone will be the selling zone. Okay, so why will be the selling zone? Because you can see sharp up move, came back down, again up move, came back down. So there has been a good selling zone in this area. The reason is very clear why there is selling in this area, because these buyers which we can see over here, the buyer and the buyer, they will now become seller in this area, and that's why we can see he made a spike and he came back down. So the other point over here, if I try to basically take out this zone, just see the importance of the dotted lines, which are very very important. That shows the option change in option premiums have been fast along with OI and volume. So more or less जो ऊपर का जोन है वो बहुत ही important है, 16,400. That is very important resistance zone at the upper end. You kindly check if the volume is fine or not. Volume is okay. Can we continue? The volume is full at my end. Yeah, so let's start. I think everything is fine. Okay, so the point was good support zone was built and the price zoomed higher, but then you can see the red dotted line coming through on the software, which shows the premium change and the volume and OI shift has been highest. So I would not go out taking a buy trade in Nifty, because we know the upper resistance plus the dotted line has also come through. So this will act like a strong resistance for us in Nifty. So what we can look out for, if Nifty again goes up from here, let's say he goes up again over here, we will go for the put option on the downside. So more or less 16,450 is where the put option of Hero Zero put option should be taken for the downside movement for today's trade. So ये देखा है कि हमने निफ्टी strong resistance जोन में जाके एक और सेलिंग आ गई है और उसके बाद में अगर ये वापस एक अपमूव लाता है कोई भी एरिया में अराउंड 16,450 के, तो आप पुट ऑप्शन पे फोकस कर सकते हैं फॉर हीरो ज़ीरो एक्सपायरी. सो अराउंड आफ्टर 2 o'clock अगर ये ऊपर जाता है तो यहाँ से आप एक पुट ऑप्शन के लिए फोकस कर सकते हैं अराउंड 16,450 का पुट ऑप्शन. अदर वे अराउंड अगर निफ्टी ऊपर नहीं जाता है एंड इफ इट सस्टेन्स विद इन दिस रेंज, बिकॉज एक स्ट्रॉन्ग सेलिंग आई है यहाँ से, तो यहाँ पे अगर निफ्टी सस्टेन करता है फिर से ऊपर जाता है और फिर सस्टेन करता है साइडवेज जाके और फिर ब्रेक डाउन देता है, तो यहाँ पे आप 16,400 का पुट ऑप्शन भी ले सकते हो. सो more or less if you try to see if it goes and makes a new high or it kind of goes sideways, in both the cases we are going for put option for today's expiry mode. Okay, so hero zero expiry put option 16,450 or 16,400 depending on where the price is. If it makes a new high and then comes down, we go for 450, and if it goes sideways and it breaks down, we go for 16,400 on the put side. Now most important point over here is downside is limited, because once the price comes down it is into the important support zone at 16,300 350 or so. So that is also very very important. Now let's try to see what Bank Nifty is doing, because based on Bank Nifty we can understand how things will move ahead. But I feel that if it comes back up, then taking a put trade on the downside will be much more feasible. But otherwise, if you take put option now, then the movement, or you can say the risk reward, will not be very very much for the hero zero expiry. Now if I want to check on Bank Nifty, the most important part is Bank Nifty is the one if you see sharp moves on the upside and then the downside comes in. Now if I try to see even Bank Nifty on broader scale, so 15-minute chart or 1 hour chart of Bank Nifty also gives you a same format, but the good part over here is good base is made in Bank Nifty and then it zoomed up all the way to the top. Now after it zooms up to the top, the most important learning of Bank Nifty is this movement has come back to the top, the resistance has been seen, the price has come back down, but it is into a strong support zone. So this is a strong support zone of Bank Nifty. तो अगर बैंक निफ्टी यहाँ से अब नीचे जाता है तो एक सपोर्ट जोन में ट्रेड करेगा और यहाँ से एक अच्छा पुल बैक और रिकवरी मोड विल स्टार्ट फिर विद बैंक निफ्टी. सो इट माइट कम बैक डाउन into the range of 34,200 to 400, and then we can see a good recovery coming in again of at least 500-600 points. This can happen in next week expiry. So the best way to play this up move is basically to wait for the price to drop here and then go for bull ratio on the upside in Bank Nifty. So that will be a good trade in the the coming week expiry, and I will basically tell you the strike price which you should focus for the bull ratio. Now this is a very strong support zone, more so if you try to see yesterday's high volume node is at the highest point, and that becomes your resistance zone for Bank Nifty. So this is the resistance zone for Bank Nifty at the higher end, this is the good support zone for Bank Nifty at lower end. This is on hourly time frame. अब देखते हैं कि smaller time frame में what we can look out for. So here we saw a huge up move after the RBI meeting, came back down, went sideways, and then we had the good move on the downside. Then today gap down opening, comes back, good, tries to go back up, again comes back down, again tries to go back up. So here we see that this is acting like a good resistance zone. So yesterday's movement of downside could not go higher, and they are not allowing the price to go on the upside. Now if I try to see on smaller time frame, we do not have any dotted lines over here, but one thing is for sure, after this up move of Bank Nifty, a sharp sell-off has taken place, and Bank Nifty also has a strong support zone over here. So there is a strong support zone at 34,000, around 750 or so, 700 to 800 zone is a strong support zone. So this 700 to 800 is a strong support zone, and on the higher side, more or less around 900 to 35,000 is a strong resistance zone. Now how should we trade the Bank Nifty? The most important part over here is if it comes back up, then we can look for again the selling of Bank Nifty. Otherwise there is no trade today in Bank Nifty. So if it should go back up again over here and then go sideways, and then you take the downside move from this area somewhere around 34,800, 34,900 for the downside move. So he should come back in this area and then it should go sideways, and then you start looking for M formation, double top kind of stuff, and then go for the put option around 2 o'clock or so for 34,800, or you can go for 34,900 put option on the downside for Hero Zero expiry. I would not suggest you to go for buy trade in Bank Nifty even if it comes in the lower zone, and it does not make sense now to go for buy trade at the lower ends for Bank Nifty. So one thing is very clear, in Nifty you have again to focus on put option. Bank Nifty also we are focusing on put option, but more than Nifty, Bank Nifty seems to be a good trade on the downside. So more than Nifty से अच्छा Bank Nifty में अच्छा स्ट्रक्चर बना है डाउनसाइड के लिए, बट पॉइंट ये है कि Bank Nifty को एक रिट्रेसमेंट देना होगा, अपसाइड आना होगा, साइडवेज जाना होगा, और फिर अगर वो ब्रेक डाउन देता है तो हमें पुट ऑप्शन पे फोकस करना होगा. सो दैट इज़ दी Hero Zero expiry trade for today, going for put option of 34,900 and 34,800. If the Bank Nifty goes up again into this vicinity, even if it makes a new high, even if it comes back to the same zone, then we can start looking for the downside move. For Nifty, as I explained, our focus would be to wait for him to either come up or go sideways, and then in the last 1 hour you can see the downside move coming across, because I do not see now Nifty making new highs or doing a breakout format over here, which is less likely because of the dotted line which has come through. Highest volume node is already there. Prior buyers which are already over here, which we already know, they would act like the sellers. So all said and done, we are looking out for selling trade on Nifty and Bank Nifty. So put option पे focus करना है Nifty और Bank Nifty में. Nifty का लेवल हो गया 16,400 का पुट ऑप्शन, 16,450 का पुट ऑप्शन, वो आप फोकस कर सकते हो. और बैंक निफ्टी में ऑलमोस्ट एट द हायर एंड अगर ये रिट्रेस करता है तो हमें ऑलमोस्ट अराउंड 34,900 का पुट ऑप्शन या 34,800 का पुट ऑप्शन फॉर Hero Zero trade. So this would be our trade structure for today, and then we can discuss more about the positional structure and the bull ratio which we can make for next expiry maybe tomorrow once the market settles either on the upside or downside, so we can have more things in detail. OI data, I think few questions I have. OI data I have already checked, so I am not checking it right now because today we are a little late for the commentary. Normally OI data you should check by around 12 to 15 or so, and because of the big movement which has already taken place, that the OI data will not represent the right information. So more or less, even with the OI data, I am very much sure 35,000 there is a huge OI which is standing, and at the base around 34,600, 700 huge OI is there. So whatever zones which I have marked, the OI data is also suggesting the same, and that's why I have not covered OI data today. Great. So from tomorrow onwards, I will be taking the commentaries again, and we will try to take it early, around 12:15 or so, so we get more trading time and our structures get formed, so we'll go out and take trades. Great. So that's it for today's Hero Zero expiry. So I think today we need to wait for the bounce back or the up movement to happen in Nifty Bank Nifty, and then take the reversal trade from the higher ends, right? So that's it for today. Do comment, do share with your friends and colleagues, and it feels good to be back in the trading mode, and let's see if we can make some money in this expiry and the coming expiry, which I am a little bit on the bullish side if it enters into the strong support zone of Bank Nifty. So stay connected, and we'll also look out for bull ratio for next week expiry. So thank you very much, and let's connect again tomorrow.